Once upon a time, in a faraway land called Indonesia, English is not widely spoken by the community. However, English literacy is a compulsory subject in secondary high school and included into a high-stakes exam that will determine the success of Indonesian students to continue to higher education. That is Jamal, a secondary school student who cannot yet see any relevance of learning English to his life. No one that he knows speaks English except his English literacy teacher, who also barely speaks the language in the class, as the lessons focus on grammatical rules and vocabulary memorization. As a result, Jamal became unmotivated to learn and considered a low achiever. Unfortunately, he is not alone. This situation can also be found at any public school across Indonesia. Many educators are worried that if this situation persists to exist, our young generation cannot perform well in a global competition, especially with the one that has already come, the Asian Economic Community. A call for immediate and effective remedy to this situation is inevitable. It is now time to bring to the class the idea that English is a language that can empower our students to compete in the globalized arena. The idea that English is a functional language that serves human needs just like what our students can do with their mother tongue. The idea that English is fun and easy to learn. And this is where my PhD research comes into play. Foregrounding the argument that teachers are the frontliners in our kids' education at school, I developed a program for teachers' professional learning. And I'm well aware that as a teacher, and quoting Timperley, a specialist in teacher education, that I believe that teacher is the best teacher they know how to be. But without access to available research that can enhance our students' learning outcome, English literacy in Indonesia will remain stagnant. It is time for me to make a change by tailoring a professional learning program that suits to the local culture, helping teachers make sense of Western-based pedagogy that has been adopted in our system, and making this work in the Indonesian context. So, my study proposes a pedagogical model that can support English teachers in Indonesia to enact the curriculum in a motivating and engaging way. That is through storytelling. Why storytelling? Everybody loves telling stories. And look at us. Why are we here? We are here to listen to inspiring stories shared by our TEDx speakers. And the most importantly, storytelling has been part of Indonesian tradition. Be it part of bedtime rituals or get-together around tea time, Indonesian children are always surrounded by stories of wisdom to respect our motherland, to respect our ancestors who had fought for our independence against the colonialists who were far stronger and bigger. And speaking about winning out over the gigantic power, I remember a story that my mom used to tell me when I was a kid, especially during the power blackout that frequently happens in my hometown. Lit by a candle, my mom used her hand to make shadow puppet and began her story about this small animal called mouse deer or kancil in Bahasa Indonesia. Even though kancil was small, but she was so smart that she could trick all other bigger animals that wanted to eat her. One day, Kancil the mouse deer wanted to get across to the other side of the river. But as you predict, there were so many crocodiles who were hungry and wanted to eat her. She said, "Hey, crocodiles, I know that you are all hungry and want to eat me. But look at you. There are so many of you and only one me. But don't worry. I will make sure that each and every one of you will get equal share of my body. I will count. I will jump on you, but don't eat me yet. And I will say what you'll get. And you will say it with me. Are you ready, crocodiles?" Yes? I cannot hear you, crocodile. Are you ready? Yes. Good. Satu. Okay. Kepala. Dua. tangan, tiga, kaki, and on and on and on until Kancil reached the other side of the river, safely, of course. So now you can see how easy it is to participate in a story told in a language that you don't speak or even never heard before. This storytelling experience is not only sweet to remember, but it can also contribute to our personality. A large number of studies have indicated that stories are indeed powerful vehicles, not only for developing personal growth, but also for language learning. Stories provide rich linguistic form, rich vocabulary, and repetitive elements that can easily be recognized by language learners. Capitalizing on the benefits of stories, I incorporate storytelling into scaffolding approach to literacy, particularly the one that has been developed by David Rose, the Reading to Learn pedagogy, that has been proved to be successful in supporting Aboriginal and disadvantaged students in Australia to develop their English literacy. Within this framework, the students in my study are immersed into story-sharing activities where they can enjoy and share the story with their friends and use this as a platform for them to access English written text. In the written text, the students can explore language resources that they can use and borrow for their own stories. Before the intervention, Jamal wrote a fragmented and unintelligible story like that. But after 8 weeks of intervention, Jamal can produce a well-written text with a hint of aesthetic sense of a literary work like that. This linguistic evidence has indicated significant progress. It is my hope that this model will be adopted by our government in Indonesia. And this is my goal, that this model will be spread far and wide so that Jamal and other kids struggling to learn a new language can learn the language successfully and live happily ever after. Thank you.